Good morning, happy Sunday, and welcome to Tarot Time. And yes, we've got lots to talk about. Things are getting very, very active on a lot of fronts. So we'll see if we can break it down using tarot and other divination tools to give you a good forecast for the week or the next couple of weeks to come. And I'm going to dive into all this in just a second. There's a lot of changes in planetary alignments. Of course, we have the interstellar object, 3-eye atlas that I've done a couple of videos on last week already, that a lot of you saw that. And if you're watching this as a video, just hang out a moment. I'm just going to say a few quick hellos because I like to give a minute or two for people to get their notification to get on that want to come in the beginning. So we have hello Beverly Wood and Lindsay again. Hello Yvonne and Millie I saw, and welcome Mary and Carla. Welcome. Hi, Karen, Suki, Katie Bluebird, Mr. Floyd's Universe. Hello, Josh, and hello, Chloe of Chloe's Crystals. And hello, did I see Melissa? Hi, Melissa. And hello, Victor of Truth Wave Meditations. All righty, then. Yes, thank you guys for being here. And before I dive in, let me just say a moment that I really appreciate you guys being part of this community. I know that I've been really busy with my own stuff and haven't been so much on your channels, but I really appreciate you coming here and being part of Tarot Time and what we're doing here. And anybody that wishes to draw attention from our community to your YouTube channels and what you do here on this platform, you are more than welcome to post that in the comments, basically, so people can know who you are and find out who you are, basically. Hello, Carrie Dell. Oh, thank you so much. Love you guys. Hello, Lindsay, if I didn't say hi to you earlier. Hello, Coyote Mooncrow. Yolanda, I think that you're Yolanda. All right, let me see. I did not bring my water here, so at some point I may have to get up, go to my kitchen, and grab my water if my mouth starts to get dry. But anyway, I know you have your own issues, and that's part of the theme. That with all this higher energy, it's being reflected in the astrology, things that are going on. It really starts to bring things to the surface that have been buried. And we're going to see that on a lot of levels. We'll see that in our own lives, that the subconscious shadows tend to get more open. We kind of see that in terms of hidden knowledge being expressed, things coming out of the earth, like Kilauea episode 31 of the latest eruption of Kilauea that started last December is so far the biggest. And it's really part of that whole like ring of fire chain, even though Hawaii sits kind of like in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So it's really like the activity there is really showing that a lot is is coming out of the earth in the form of magma and such. So it's like the earth is releasing a lot of stuff that's buried energetically. So we're seeing more volcanism, more earthquake activities, and stuff like that. And then, of course, we have the interstellar object through 3-eye atlas. That's to me, it as I remote viewed it, and a lot of you saw the video already. And if you haven't, it's on the channel. So I'm not going to go too deep into what came through in that, but it did show me some kind of a life force or life force energy and consciousness, whether it's alive, like a living interstellar being that we don't understand, or it's just a space rock, but it has these qualities. But it must either have like either a pulse or an energetic signature or a big iron composition, because it's really showing signs of altering and even upsetting the electromagnetic resonance of the inner solar system as it's starting to come in. And what we've been seeing is mega flares on the far side of the sun, and these sunspots are getting ready to rotate. They're coming into the eastern limb of the sun now. We had like this filament plasma ejection that was like huge. It looked like this big ring that almost looked like it was even pulled out, and it was directed towards Mars, and where 3i Atlas is now currently sort of approaching Mars. It's going to reach its closest approach to Mars right around the 1st or 2nd of October. It comes into a perihelion. Am I pronouncing that right? Its closest approach to the sun soon after that. Then it being behind the sun. Oh my goodness. Hold on. We lost the picture apparently here. Fix this on the fly at all. All right. Hold on. I've got to see if I can fix my camera here. All right. I may have to go back into studio for a second. I don't know if I'm gonna lose you guys or now. The mic settings. All right. I think you guys still hear me, but there's got to be a way to let me try this. All right. So what I did is I came off of my iPhone camera that it apparently isn't working. Now I'm on the I'm on the computer camera. All right. So what we're saying about a lot of energy, right? I'm glad that I was able to fix that. So it's a little fuzzier, but you can still see me. It's a little bit darker also, but hey, maybe this is good. Good. So instead of looking up, I've got to look down now. It works. Yes. All right. So anyways, where was I when all that happened? All right. Anyhow, I have to get my train of thought back. So what were we talking about? We were talking about basically, the effects that there's a lot of electromagnetic kind of effects that are going on with this space object. So it's really, anyway, I just lost my train of thought. So I'm going to go into tarot next. So let me see. What are you guys saying before I go in? Oh, 3i Atlas. Yeah, we were talking about 3i. None of my tech is working correctly. Yeah. So Virgo stellium. So yeah, that gives me an opportunity to jump into some astrology. We just started Virgo season. We just had a new moon at 0 degrees, the void of Virgo, basically, after a long void, of course, moon, I might add. Now, Venus is going into what? Leo, right? Tomorrow. And we have the sun is now very much in alignment with the 4 outer planet alignment that would include Pluto and a Saturn Neptune conjunction and Uranus on the other limb of a 3-pointed sextile that those 4 planets are making, basically. And so the sun and the moon are activating that. So that's all going on as well. Let's see, marks. Okay. So we love the music. All right. Anyhow, let me just get my train of thought back. That just totally distracted me. And I was on a roll, so right. But anyway, we were talking about the transition of 3i Atlas, and I did a videos. It felt alive to me. I was talking about maybe it has a lot of a lot of iron in it. A lot of it's got like this plasma cloud around it that's twice the size of the Earth. That, according to Stefan Burns, anyways, and it's coming into that in their solar system, and it's really charging things up. So where we left off when I lost the camera was that the where did we leave off? Oh my goodness. But okay, that around the 21st of October. So you talked about when it's going to be very close to Mars, and then it's going to have a heliocentric conjunction with, I believe, Mercury and Mars, and then it reaches its closest point to the sun, and around the 21st of October, it goes into a what's that called, a cazimi, a superior conjunction, like on the far side of the sun, basically from Earth, and that's going to really generate, I believe, a lot of plasma, a lot of electromagnetic fluctuation. So the long and the short of it is that we're coming into a period of heightened solar activity. We're still at the maximum of solar cycle 20. I think it's 25 that we're in. So we're still at the maximum. It's starting to come off of the peak, but we're still at the maximum. And this object is really enhancing that solar activity. So we were having a little bit of a lull of sunspots, but off the far side of the sun, massive flares and filament ejections have happened. But the instrumentation is also in a superior conjunction to the Earth, so it can't transmit until it comes off of that conjunction in the Earth. And then in a couple of days, we'll be able to see how big that flare was and where it went. But it looks like it went straight towards Mars and where 3I Atlas is, basically. And now as it turns around, then these flares are going to be facing the Earth. So a lot of solar activity that's going to enhance geomagnetic activity, earthquakes, volcanoes, enhancing weather systems as we're coming to the peak of hurricane season. So a lot of things to kind of keep an eye on with that. So anyway, happy birthday, Lindsay. Yes, my birthday's not till the end of September. All right, so let's start out here. And I'm going to do a meditation card for the week. So let me just mix these cards up. There were other aspects that are going on. So we have Venus going into Leo. So Venus and Leo, that feels to me like it's, even though it's like fire and Venus is more water in its energy. And I believe Venus and Neptune are also in some kind of an alignment. I think a trine. So Neptune's the higher octave of Venus energetically. So it's really like in a lot of different ways, there's a lot of upgrades in consciousness and energy that are happening now. So it's pretty interesting, pretty interesting what's going on, all around, basically. So weak hurricane. Okay, yeah, let me see what we're saying. So the La Nina is starting to come into effect. It's actually El Nino that suppresses hurricane activity because the warming of the equatorial Pacific creates a lot of heat in the upper atmosphere coming into the tropics, a lot of thunderstorm activity. Long and the short of that, it creates more shear in the atmosphere, and that kind of blows off the tops of hurricanes. But we come into a La Nina that's actually a favorable. And I said in one of my recent videos that I was seeing a bottom heavy hurricane season, meaning more activity after the September 10th peak than before. We've only had one hurricane. We may have a second, possibly even a third before September the 10th. There's a few areas out there. And if my forecast verifies, it sure did with the last storm that came closer to the Carolinas than the weather models said it would happen, that it blew up. And it was a really huge hurricane. And for whatever reason, Hurricane Erin. Now we have, I think, a new tropical storm, right? I haven't checked the weather in a day or two. And I think there's a couple of other waves. And part of the forecast was one hitting the East Coast, another one hitting the Gulf area, Central Gulf. yeah, in the next several weeks. So, we have to, it's the time of year that we have to be aware. There's also a 7.5 mag earthquake at Drake Passage. We've talked about Antarctica, and that's very close to Antarctica. And that was, I don't know if it was tarot time last Sunday or if it was the video before the psychic forecast video where I said that I saw 7.5 coming very soon, and I think it was like a day or two after that hit, and that was basically happening right after there was some, I forgot what it was, but there was definitely some heightened solar activity right before that, and the influence of the interstellar object was coming to play also. So yeah, it's really interesting. So get ready for a wild autumn, and the stuff that I had predicted in the spring and summer that hasn't verified yet, I think it's all going to really verify in the fall. A lot of it did verify, but not everything that I'd mentioned, in those forecasts. Not yet, anyhow. So anyway, going back into the tarot. What are we saying before we go in? Yeah, less hurricanes the better. I agree. And Mary said the East Coast will get hit with something. I just went a day off. Yeah. So Carl's saying big thunderstorms in Southwest Florida last 2 days. Ferdinand, thank you. This coming week, yeah. All right. Hi everybody. Man. So we'll say some prayers. Horse King's hoof is healed now. Yay! Very good, very good. Glad to hear that. And from Millie, Adam, Josh, Victor, Witchy, Trista, Lucky Sound, I started a channel together with Nustra Tabula Rasa. We go live Sundays at 11 p.m. Eastern. Live Sundays at 11 p.m. Eastern weekly. Wow, nice. Good for you. Congratulations. Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Very good. All right, so let's do our meditation card for this week. And we'll do some predictive stuff, and near the end, we'll do a little. We'll do a group meditation and a mini transmission with the master teachers, and the theme of it will be succinct or with whatever we pick up on through tarot today. So I don't know exactly what we're going to do yet, but the meditation card is the Justice card. So this is really about balance, equilibrium, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, as you go into meditation with it, you might want to think of what needs to be balanced in your life, what needs to be more fair and just, in your life and the world around you. It's also the card that's connected to the sign Libra, not surprisingly, with the scales. And once upon a time, in modern tarot, it's key 11, but once upon a time, it was key 8 in the tarot. And then the strength card was key 11. And that got changed to, more modern occultists from the late 1800s primarily. So anyway, to meditate with tarot cards, like any other meditation, get very relaxed, grounded, tune into your breathing, feel present, that you're not a name, you're not a body, your energy, your spirit. So once you feel very present, be aware of what you feel energetically, what the body, that's not your body, it's a body that you happen to be very briefly connected with at this time in this lifetime. So what does that feel like? What does your energy feel like, your spirit? And just be aware of that. Then in your mind, you step right into the card, and as you do that, just how does the energy feel? How does it change? And then this might be a guide. The goddess Ma'at or Mat, depending on your pronunciation, the Egyptian goddess that's also about fairness, justice, and balance. This may be a representation of that also, but whatever this is, it may be one of your guides, one of your angels, it may be one of your spirited loved ones that crossed over. And as you go into the card, then you step into a whole new scene. This is just the doorway that you see through the card. It's a whole new multi-dimensional reality that you're stepping into, and see what messages you get or what upgrades happen. So it's all about balance. I think balance is going to be a key. We've got a lot of extreme solar activity. It's likely to get very dicey here on planet Earth, because as these electromagnetic frequencies increase, as the planetary resonance gets stronger, possibly or probably enhanced by the interstellar object, it affects collective consciousness, and things get a little bit unstable, a little bit more dramatic amongst people and what goes on in the world. Higher highs, lower lows, stronger oscillation. So the balance is really about kind of smoothing out those extremes, basically, and understanding the highest high and the lowest low is really part of the same energy, just different expressions of energy in life, basically. And everything travels in waves. We're going to have highs, crests, and troughs, basically. So that's basically part of the message. Yeah, that's. I'm sorry, I'm holding it up as if I'm working with my camera. I'm not, because the camera pooped out. I think I have to get a new cord. It's not the camera itself. And so it's the Justice card. Yes. So that's the way the card looks. And so Mahata, weighing of the heart against the feather, and Anubis to dispatch the justice. Thank you for that. Yes. And Millie's also saying a new creative outlet to add some spark. And so that would be the YouTube thing. And Josh is saying I'll most likely be on my way home from work during the show tonight. So it's 11 tonight. I'll see if I'm up and functioning. Usually I'm doing like spiritual work at 11. Sometimes I even do yoga that late. And I go to bed around 1 or 2 in the morning and wake up around 7 or 8 the next day. So that's my normal routine. So anyway, there's a second card. Interesting. Funny, because I didn't realize I pulled 2 cards. This is the second card I pulled. So Ace of Wands might just be relevant in terms of our energy of new natural beginnings. Wands represents fire, so new natural beginnings. Maybe it's time to think about what direction you want to go, what new things that you want to learn. It could be a statement on changes in career and things of that nature. So anyhow, I want to do a 3-card spread for the week. Hello, Enspree. I think you're Nancy, right? I think that's your name. I might ask from all of you, I have something going on this week. Please pray for me for a positive outcome. Please extend your prayers to me. Of course we shall. You got it. Prayer team in action. I'm seeing a lot of aces. Just as I'm mixing these cards, the Ace of Pentacles got my attention. So, if some of us may be having some new beginnings around work, around money, but it's positive, good changes, not bad changes, not negative surprises or anything like that. Yes, thank you. So we know your name now. You're not just initials and numbers. Okay. There you go. See, everybody's with you, Nancy. We're all with you, and we can, a little later on, send out a lot of group collective prayers, to go where it's needed. So another thing, a lot of us, and this is, I think, where I lost the camera before and lost my train of thought, that we're just feeling the energies in our own ways, higher highs, lower lows, sleep patterns disrupted, strange dreams. A lot of people are finding that they're coming under some kind of weird spirit attachment issues, like portals opening, and there's the more challenging or negative spirits that they're having to interact with. So the idea, I think, as we're in this peak of this transition, we have to kind of keep in mind that humanity's awakening, but there's powers or forces that are more connected to the old earth or the Luciferian, or however you want to call that they are really trying to block the change, and some of it's through technology, through every energy moves in waves. That includes Wi-Fi, that includes cell signals, all of that. That includes the programming that we see on media, on social media, in music, in Hollywood, in politics, and all that kind of stuff. So it's almost like we're getting hit harder. Meanwhile, we're also ascending. We're also getting lighter vibrationally. So it's almost like the rubber band is stretching. So what we really need to do, I believe, is to get very grounded and be in the heart. So every day, it's a good idea to just practice earthing or grounding. Now, earthing is basically going out barefoot, reconnecting with the earth, because when we're not in shoes, then we're more part of the electromagnetic circuit of the planet than when we're a little bit cut off from that. But also through meditation, you can just visualize deep roots in the earth and just feel like each breath you're inhaling the earth through your roots in and around your body, exhaling, releasing back to the earth, and doing that, and then augmenting that with heart coherence, which is basically really sitting with gratitude, compassion, and love in a state of presence or meditation. And when you do that, then the heart and the brain, the brain becomes engaged with the heart's vibration, because they are really two parts of the same system, the heart-brain coherence, which makes us coherent with spirit, or who we are as spirit. So doing these things and getting very grounded and being in the heart brings you into the eye of the storm. So the energy will still be sweeping. The storm will still blow through. This autumn, there's a really kind of like an energetic storm that's blowing through. But once we get to the other side, I think miraculous things are going to be happening, whenever that is. But in the meantime, it's just part of the change. So get into the eye of the storm, get very grounded, and we're all going to be okay. We're going to be very connected with community also. So tourmaline, yes, tourmaline is very good. Tourmaline is good, and shungite's good. So I have my shungite pyramid right here also. And there's a few other things. I have one of those orgons with the crushed crystal and the copper in my bedroom where I sleep. That's been shown to help to disperse some of the EMF frequency that can be potentially harmful. But for being very grounded, having opened, coherent heart equals having a strong frame or a strong vibrational field around you. And the stronger that field is, the more resistant you are to the programming and negative EMF. So do that and get out into nature more, because, we're around a lot of technology. It affects our energetic field. It may tear things down a little bit. I'll tell you, like 10 minutes out in nature, hugging a tree, being by a stream, just breathing in the air, it restores your field back to close to its natural balance. Now, I do get the sense that, and I'm going to probably do a video Tuesday, that they're really building that AI network big time, and we're really coming into the time of the split, and the split being the split in society. It's two different facets of the split, because one is being more in the 3D, where it's going more into the 5D. So it's the 3D, 5D split that's happening, but also the split in society where one part of society is really buying into this whole like mechanized technology-based society where AI is really governing your society and really governing our lives, versus people that don't want to be part of that network and want to continue to be more organic and more human and develop spiritually, in that way. So I'll talk more about that in a video and what that's about. But in any regards, moving right along. Oh, maybe Mary. Yeah, is that and what's Angela saying? Oh, we're back to this comment. So hi, Angela. I feel the shakeup is coming. Yeah, yeah, the shakeup is coming in a lot of different levels. Yeah. And here's another definition. Justice Card 11 definition. Connect to the eclipse cycle. Yeah, eclipse season right around the corner. Universal avatar to just outcomes, balances, or fairness. What's done is done, and the way things are is how it's meant to be. So that's great. Yeah, or orgone generators are powerful, absolutely. And yeah, fairness and balance, the way things are and the way they have to be. So I had a train of thought that I lost. So I'll go back in the cards again, I guess. But yeah, it's really, a lot of this is really about balance. Okay, the thought came back because we're coming into eclipse season. We just had a new moon, and the last new moon was very, very close to the energy of an eclipse. Because what happens in an eclipse? A solar eclipse is on a new moon. A lunar eclipse is on a full moon, and it just means that the new moon and the full moon during that lunar cycle is lining up with the lunar nodes, or the point where the moon crosses the sun's elliptical orbit, or I should say the Earth's elliptical orbit, but it looks like from the Earth perspective, it looks like the sun. So what that means is that in geometric terms, is that when we have a regular new moon, the sun and the moon are astrologically in conjunction, but that's really only like a horizontal conjunction in the sky. Vertically, they're still not together because either the moon's below or above the sun, because it's not on the ecliptic at that time. So when we have an eclipse, the moon and the sun are right together, and these are the two largest gravitational forces that affect the Earth. So when they're together in one spot, it enhances the gravitational pull on the Earth. It focuses it, and it creates effects on the Earth and the geology and the movement of the Earth, just like it affects the tides also. So we'll tend to have our king tides, maybe not on that cycle, but the cycle right after it. So this last new moon, they were very, very close. So it had the energy. This last new moon already had the energy to eclipse. That's what I'm trying to say. Back to 3-card spread. Back to our regular spread. Oh yeah, and it's also the black moon, right? So thanks for reminding me of that. In a way, exactly. Cycle of 33 years for this. So what happens? The black moon, every 33 years or every 33 months, and that's the third the third new moon of a season that has 4 new moons. That's what the black moon means. Most seasons have only 3 new moons. Every now and then there's 4, about every approximately every 2.5 years, every 33 months. So that has there's a lot of folklore associated with that, and a lot of symbology associated with that. So we're in the black moon cycle now, which is basically what's black. It's the hidden, it's the void. It was at 0 degrees of Virgo. That's the 0 is nothing, the void. So this is really about going deep into that place of nothingness to understand everything, if that makes sense. So everything comes from the void, everything returns to the void. It's the cosmic womb. And if we can go deep within that, then we understand the mysteries of life and creation. So not intellectually, because these little brains can't wrap around the mysteries of creation, but we get it intuitively, energetically, like our being, our spirit recognizes and knows it on a higher level. And our lives change because it reflects and influences our consciousness also, even if we're not aware of how. So anyway, so anyway, that's the black moon. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been sleeping a lot also, and definitely been feeling a lot of energy for sure. So 3-card spread. Exactly, Carla. Exactly. So this is the best time. Yeah. That would have been nice, yeah. And Mary saying, "Black moon, I didn't know. I could feel an astrology thing every day seems." Uh, Oh, you're canoeing at midnight. Oh, you have my envy. Good for you. All right, so let me clear my mind and get us more of our 3-card spread. I see spirit guide me the right card. I'm seeing wolves. We're talking about the moon. Wolves are teachers and trailblazers. I think there's a lot going on with lessons, learning, growth, all that kind of stuff. So sometimes when I'm talking, I'm not thinking, and then my hand is just kind of moving on its own to find the right card. So we'll show you this in a second. But the moon card comes up right in the middle. So we have the 9 of Wands or 9 of Rods. We have the moon card, and we have the 6 of Swords also. So basically, talk about the moon and the 6 of Swords. It's also on water, but Swords is about air. And that tends to be a statement on moving past difficulties, kind of, finding, kind of not haven't reached the new shore yet, but left the old shore. So I think we find ourselves, a lot of people, in this void, 0 degrees, this black moon energy, that we know we can't go back to where we've been, but we don't know exactly where we're going yet. So we're kind of in the in-between. It's like the Rubicon in a way. So we're kind of in between shores in a sense. And we don't know where we're going to. It's interesting. This Rush song called "The Fountains of Lamneth" popped up in my mind, which is old Rush. And it's almost like very the song, it's like a 22-minute song. It's almost very much like the Odyssey, like Homer's Odyssey, like this traveler having to go to these new lands and everything, and describes his journey along the way through song. And it's kind of like, it's okay, enjoy the peace of being in between the two worlds. We don't need to necessarily know where we're going. We just need to know where we are, who we are in the present moment. And I think that's part of the message for us here as well. A lot of this is about balancing the emotions, being able to understand that these higher energies are really acting in the collective field more than ever, I believe. And we've been talking about this on and off for years. So it's been building and building. And I think we're reaching our crescendo now, this autumn, maybe into 2026. It seems to keep getting pulled forward in time or stretched into time further. But I really feel like it's happening, and that's the process. And then the moon can represent the subconscious too. So it's like things sort of coming out of the subconscious that maybe we've been holding on to for this lifetime, for much of this lifetime, and maybe other lifetimes also, a lot of other lifetimes. But it shows us as a collective, we're ready to face these, what, if you want to call them, inner demons or past lives or suppressed traumas, whatever you want to call it. Like, we're ready to do that, and we're becoming more ready as a collective also. So I think this is also trying to say that we may get a little bit, in the news and the headlines. What popped up in my mind: look out in the next week or two for news on Donald Trump's health or a high-ranking official, a world leader's health. I feel like also something about a new economy comes up, so there may be some proposals of some changes in international currency or stuff like that. Not necessarily this week, but in the coming week. But this also gives you the feel of like some military strike, not necessarily the U.S. And gosh, I'm just seeing India in my mind. So there maybe, I don't know if that means there's going to be more issues around India and Pakistan or anything like that. But I was thinking the Middle East initially, because that's where a lot of the action is, and obviously Russia, Ukraine. But I think that and yeah, I think it's already happening actually, that there's a lot of troops in Gaza and a lot going on there that I think we're going to hear more about. But this might be something new, or a new attack or something like that. And I'm aware, and we had predicted also in the beginning of August, next Thursday, I'll have the September psychic forecast, the live stream for that. But we had talked about um, there would be peace negotiations. Not necessarily that an end of the war would come in August, but that the energy favored that, and it's happening. Even though there's a lot of aggression and a lot of attacks that are still happening. They did have the meeting, they did have the summit, even if it is largely show. It did happen, and now there's still a lot to iron out. If we're to get to that place of where my prediction verifies that later September or October that there actually is an end to the war, or at least a significant ceasefire by that time. But it's like this is the time to just the Nine of Wands, it's readiness, it's completion because it's a nine. The bandage on the head is often about psychic wounding. So it's really, and the moon card is very deep energy, and we have the benefit of this void new moon, the cycle, to really go deeper within than we've gone before, and go be in your heart, ride the vehicle of your heart, be grounded, because that way you'll be able to handle the impact of whatever you uncover deep within. Because a lot of us have deep traumas, and we're aware of some of it, but some of it we're not aware of, basically. So this is really the time, and and I think I understand there's been a lot of strife in England, and there's groups that are kind of destroying those AI cameras that are spying on people on the streets and stuff. So there's a lot of uprising. There's a lot of protests. That's only going to continue. That's only going to amp up. And with more space weather, more solar activity, with the interstellar object coming into in a planal orbit around the sun, which has got the chances of that are what's that, about about 1 in 10,000 or 1 in 2,000 or something like that, that it would come within 5 degrees of the planetary elliptical plane, meaning that it's going to be interacting with the inner solar system for much longer than Oumuamua did, um, which created a lot of disruption. There were double-digit X-class flares 3 years off of the most underwhelming solar maximum. That was solar cycle 24, I believe, uh, of over a century. And then, well after the maximum, this object came in that doesn't seem to be as big or as bright as this one. Not as much dust or plasma around it, but it was right around Mercury. Mercury is very much within that sun magnetic orb, so to speak. I think Mercury is part of the sun's magnetic system. So it's very, very close, but it wasn't there for that long. So I can only imagine what this is going to bring on. So we have to, again, be prepared for the potential of long-term power outages, disruptions, starting anytime soon, but especially into the autumn months, basically. So that's kind of the energy that I get with that. So I hate to break in the middle, but I need to get my water, which I left in the kitchen. So I'll be back in just a second. So hang out there, talk amongst yourselves. I'm back. Hope, oh, good. You didn't all, well, a few of you left. All right. That's okay. So let me dive into the, let me see what you guys were saying when I was gone. No, I haven't seen that. I love the original Dune with Sting in it, and what's that guy's name? Kyle MacLachlan. He was great. Uh, Jordan. Yeah, me too. Exactly. Being not of the world, right? And saying Amanda's one I don't know. It didn't work for long. Remember the Christmas parties? Okay, I think I'm missing part of your conversation. Coffee talk. Okay. Let's pray your ankle heals. So I'm pretty sure what we're gonna do for our group prayer mini transmission is for balance, help restore balance to our own energetic fields, to the world, to society, to consciousness, and everything like that. But let me do. I have a couple more divination things that I want to do before that, so I will do that now. Drink some more water. Okay, so clearing mind. So this is the Native American tarot, and the card we got is County Coup. This would be the seven of, I think the reference to the Seven of Swords. So again, this kind of gives me the feeling like, yeah, I think with this strong energy, it's really, I mean, it's a beautiful, blessed thing, but people that aren't ready, that aren't doing the work, it can be very agitating. So I think we're going to find energetically people really on edge this week. So pack extra patience when you go out and stuff like that. Okay. I'm not on my camera. I'm on here because the camera pooped out. So here, this is going to help to show you this better. Yeah, there may be, I'm just seeing like a hostile takeover. So I don't know if that's going to be something in Russia, Ukraine, or another part of the world. They just flashed Japan in my mind. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something else that goes on in Japan. I talked a little bit about this in my last video about Three Eye Atlas, but I was seeing something going on, and more likely in the axial seamount, which is underground volcanoes, about roughly 1,000, or not quite 1,000, maybe roughly 1,000 kilometers off of the Oregon coast. It could be the Arcadia subduction zone, which is a little closer, but they showed me waves propagating out of that area. So only potential, and we found that as we send more and more collective prayers, we're not seeing those worst case scenarios. I think I mean, there's always going to be some, and there's always going to be weather, there's always going to be geology, but I think after Hurricane Sandy, which was horrible, obviously, and it just, I have a little story that demonstrates how we can affect the weather or the energy and conditions in our area. But after that, a lot of these events that they came up, except for very local events like many 1,000-year floods, like what's that place called? Ellicott, Maryland, got 2,000-year floods in the space of 5 years, for example. So, other than anyway, more water. But other than that, what we're finding is a lot of these prophecies, they happen, but they're not as bad as they could be. Take, for example, the Russia earthquake. It was an 8.8, the sixth largest measured in like over 100 years. Now, Ryo Suzuki, a prophet from Japan who predicted to the date, I believe, the big 2011 tsunami, the March 11, 2011, the biggest tsunami in modern history in Japan. She predicted an even worse event for July of 2025 with a big tsunami, volcanoes, and so forth. So what happened is that the earthquake was off Russia, not Japan. There was a tsunami, but it wasn't as big. For a couple of very, about three different geological factors involved with that, kept the tsunami smaller than what an average 8.8 megathrust earthquake would generate. I'll put it that way. So it was smaller, and there were volcanoes that touched off. Oh, I forgot the name of that peninsula. That touched off a 500-year volcano. So she wasn't wrong, in other words, but it wasn't that direct hit like the 2011. So to me, that's an example of how putting a lot of energy in collective prayer, it does affect things. So during Hurricane Sandy, um, we had a dry hurricane. In the section of the Catskills that I was in, I found out later that we had the strongest fetch of wind there. Hardly any rain, and at the peak of it, the wind was so strong you could hear the whistling in the trees. And I believe it takes at least an 80-mile-an-hour wind to do that. So I got the idea to take my drum, go upstairs, and I was living with a lady and her daughter at the time, and she was terrified. She's begging me to come downstairs. She said, "It's not safe. It's not safe." And I'm trying to explain, but Spirit's telling me to do this, telling me to go up. So for about 15 or 20 minutes, I was drumming, I was chanting, I was connecting with the wind. I was part of it. I was one with it, all that stuff. And then the next day, the arborist comes in. Yeah, the arborist came. Yeah, it was her house. I was just living there. 6 trees fell. They're all white pine. So another reason to have your etheric roots deep, because white pines have very shallow roots. They're the first trees to fall in the storm. Huge branches. It looked like a tornado ripped through. It looked like a freaking war zone. To cut to the chase, I saw pictures of it. So the arborist came in, and when he was done, he looked at the person who owned the property and said, "I do not know how your house did not get hit by this." He said that was an act of God. And then I was telling her, "See, don't question me. Yeah, I know what I'm doing." Then she was like, "Well, you could have been in the basement and done that." I'm like, "No, Spirit told me to go to the second floor and do it." So I did it. And again, I'm not trying to boast, because any one of you could do the same thing if you know how to connect with the element. And it really starts by opening the heart and being present and really being able to feel. And once you can start to feel, you start to feel energy. And once you start to feel energy, you can allow your energy and the energies around you to start to blend. And through that, you can start to bend reality. And Native Americans and many other indigenous, and not even just the indigenous, Catholic people, Jewish people that were mystical, discovered that they could influence reality that way, basically. So anyway, it's a little lesson for us in tarot time. So let me move on. I've got a couple of other things. So let's get a quick message from Kyle Gray's Divine Masters Oracle. We got Saint Germain. Hello, Josh. Saint Germain. Alchemy, release the old, make way for the new. So this is about the violet flame. So this is a good message for us, because again, especially those of us like myself that are doing spiritual work on a public format and getting increasingly attacked by others. Although I had to delete a few comments. We can kind of go to my last video about the one that had the breaking news thumbnail on it, not the other one, and look at some of the comments just to give you a little sample size there. But the violet fire, that helps to cleanse the auric fields, that helps to cleanse and purify and renew. So you can call on Saint Germain, open your heart, feel grounded, visualize violet fire, especially if you're feeling the stress of the world, or people are being negative with you, or feeling that. And that's going to help to burn off a lot of negativity and get you back into your higher power. And when you're aligned with God's spirit or source, the bottom line is that we all draw from the same power. So nobody's more powerful than you. a lot of people are having problems like spirits in their houses, portals opening, negative entities and stuff like that. And I try to remind them, as soon as you're afraid, then you're in a vibration that's their domain, basically, and that's when they can control you. Now, it's not easy to turn fear on and off, right? And in fact, there's nothing wrong with fear. It's actually a very useful survival instinct that humans wouldn't exist without it. But we can't, allow fear to control us. Once we feel afraid of something, we have to, what's the right word? Just come into a higher level of power. So basically, if you're having these things going on and you're feeling fearful or angry about it, this is the time to really feel empowered, to connect with your heart, connect with spirit and source. And because they can use the lower resonance to manifest, but if you're in a higher vibration, then they can't manifest around you as much, and they're not as active, basically. So that is really the key, is to raise vibration. And you can work with violet fire for that also. So anyhow, what are you guys saying? The release randomly on Friday on the IM. If you haven't watched it yet, thank you. So you watch that one on Mr. Floyd Universe channel. You hit that love button. Thank you so much. And saying, I wish there was a portal. As a child, I had a portal to Satan because it was a devil worship neighborhood. I saw the devil 5 times. And yeah, the devil can only tempt. Sometimes it tempts through fear. Like we naturally fear it, right? So, hello, Janice. Good morning to you too, beloved souls. Empower yourself. Yes, exactly. Yeah. All right. And Millie saying they were when I was in New York City, Chicago, San Francisco, and DC with Charles E. Smith, not to mention cold storage warehouses. All right. Yeah, and you're welcome, Josh, always. So I have my totem animals for the week too. So look at the medicine cards for a second. I see all the souls from the pit. Yeah, that's good to not directly interact with them, I guess. All right. Okay, right to my card. I don't think there's roosters or chickens or hens in the card. Right? I saw a rooster in my mind. Well, I got a squirrel. Squirrels are about planning, right? About, they gather their nuts for the winter. So it may be a sign from spirit. Yeah, make sure we're stocked up, because we do have, a period of heightened solar activity right on the doorstep. I think that's going to carry into early 2026, to be honest. So so let's gather our nuts now, and let's be prepared. And preparation is often the key. And squirrels also feel just as home on the trees, which is more into the air, the realm of intellect or spirit, as they do on the ground. And they're very cute too. So I think this is just a message from spirit about let's be prepared just in case. And I find that the more prepared I am for something, the less likely it is to happen. And I think that's some of the value of that. But when, it can happen anytime, but when there's more volatility, geopolitical, atmospheric, geological, solar, all that means that things like power outages are more likely, large scale power outages or other things that could disrupt supplies. It enhances the storms and everything. I was out, sky gazing last night, and I've never seen so many satellites in my life. Yeah, if you're out like within a couple of hours of sunset when it's still dark, because they reflect the sunlight, the satellites. When it's too late at night, you don't see them anymore. And it's like one after another. They were all coming from west, northwest to east, southeast, all of them. It was like a parade of them. At one point, I could see 6 in the sky at once. They were it wasn't Starlink; they were separate satellites. And I think it's really there's a lot of reasons they're satellites. That's why we have Wi-Fi cell and all that stuff. But I think it's really the AI grid. I think they've launched a bunch of new satellites. That AI grid that's going to really be sort of controlling the movements of society and trying to control us, basically. I'll talk more about that in a separate video also. As I said, the nut doesn't fall far from the tree. That's true. That is true. Yeah, I think they're launching a lot of rockets, to be honest. Yeah. All right. Anyhow, moving right along. So that's squirrel energy. Isis Oracle. So, we're an hour already. So let me do Isis quickly in the frequency, and then we'll do a little process. All right. A quick message from the our Egyptian friends, and this says, "The brother in darkness, overcoming negative energy with feminine power." Very interesting. Did we get this last week or the week before? So in any regards, that's what this card's about. So it's an overcoming negative energy with feminine power. So that might be another message from the universe to call on the archetype of the goddess, whether that's Isis or Sekhmet or Kali. Kali's very good at slaying the demons. The Vedic deity, and also allowing our own divine feminine to be more surfaced and more relevant. And it's interesting, there's 36 Psalms. I was seeing the number 33 in my mind, which is about the master creator. So I think if we're really connecting more with that and connecting with the dark side, not being of it, but being aware of it. And again, it's the void. It's the 0 degree new moon, and the whole 29-day cycle reflects the moment of the new moon. This is really about uncovering the mysteries hidden hidden in the darkness of our own being, as well as what's hidden, in the spiritual realms. Also, not to be afraid of the dark, but to embrace it. So we bring a lot of light into our heart. We shine the light of awareness into the darkness, and it's not scary anymore because it's illuminated. And then we understand and overcome it, basically. So that's what I'm getting from that card. And I just wanted to do this very quickly also. That's for the devil, and got this. It's okay. I found that, I've been, I don't want to say attracting, but a lot of that kind of energy has been directed at me, and it just kind of lets me know that I'm on the right track, basically. If I'm stirring up that kind of energy and that we might call the dark side, it's trying to interfere, it just shows that we're going in the right direction. Because at the end of the day, it's the teacher. It's like the coyote in the Native American legends. Yeah, that's Lucifer's ultimate mission. After lays the earth to waste and returns back to God with the angels, humanity has awakened, through all the trials and tribulations. So maybe the idea is to be aware of that before it comes into mass annihilation, right? Maybe it's time to do our spiritual work now so we won't have to get to that point. And maybe that'll help to affect the collective positively. And here we go. This is the one. Universal love, key 44. Love it, love it. And now we've got 33 on. The frequency of universal love activates the connection we feel to each other, to our planet, and to the whole existence itself. So universal love is the unifying field, and it is the heart. So when we're in the heart, we're in that unifying field. We realize, whether the devil or Satan or God, whatever it is, it's all part of just energy. It's all part of what is. When you shine the light of awareness into the shadow, it ceases to be a shadow. When you shine light into the darkness, it's no longer dark, basically. So we can't fear what's going on. Let's stay in our compassion. Let's stay in our heart. So let's do a little transmission where we can actually come into that place of universal love, into that unifying field, to find that internal balance, and to help create that in the collective, and send a lot of prayers to those that need healing, that need love, that need support. Sending all that positive energy to those, the world leaders that are making the decisions, those that are, attacking other countries, that are, that are killing people just because they want more land in their country, although that might just be the show, that might not be the reason for it. But whatever the case, let's just for a moment, let's just take a couple of breaths. The force is strong with it. Yeah. Love, not live. Yes. It's where there is love, fear does not exist. Exactly. Yeah. Because fear really is the emotion we feel when we feel separated from source, right? And when we feel there's a threat, that's what fear is about. But as long as we know that we are connected with the universal love and divinity, basically, even if something's happening in our physical lives, we kind of approach it from that place of empowerment, not fear, which separates us from that. So on that note, let's just get nice and relaxed. Take a couple of deep breaths. Feel shoulders relaxing, chest, chin relaxing, heart opening. Inhaling love and light, feeling that circulating around you. Exhaling, releasing stuck energy, other people's energies, the fear programming, all that stuff. Just letting it go, knowing that you are in a safe place, that the one that created you is watching over you, taking care of you always. Acknowledge that the physical world is an illusion, that life is so much vaster and greater than what we experience through our body and our five senses. So even if we feel threatened in our physical, that doesn't mean that God, spirit, or source has abandoned us. We are always taken care of. We're always going to transition through ups and downs, light and darkness, but we're in the process, we're going to ascend, we're going to become closer to who we are as spirit, and we're going to help to upgrade, and we're going to, in time, create more of a utopian society that reflects those interchanges. So let's be that change. Just feel your heart opening and expanding. As when my arms go up like that, that means the master teachers are working with me energetically. So if you're with me and you're present, you may be starting to feel this energy also. We shall, through this channel and with this channel and with all of you, because you are all channels of light, you're all channels of spirit, you're all channels of the master teachers. We are working to balance, to centralize the powers and the vibration of love and unity. But it first starts with finding unity from within. You may complain, well, not complain, but question why we live in such a fragmented society, and then don't consider the fact that your heart is also fragmented. It's just a process of evolution and growth. It's not negative, it's not positive, it just is. It's just a process. And through the recognition of that, that's how you start to reclaim the unity, reintegrate the lost soul parts that happen through personal and collective trauma, and bring it all back into the heart for healing. That's where you find the balance. So feel your heart open and expanded, dear ones. We are raising the frequencies. Feel your heart expanding, touching every cell and atom of your body, energizing it with love, which heals disease, which is part of the separation. There is no disease when you are one with your creator. It simply does not exist. It's a symptom of separation. Feel that love expanding through your aura, that unity, that balance, and allow that to reflect within the collective field around you, sending that into Mother Earth, sending that into the earth fields, the morphic fields that we are all a part of, whether you are like us, interdimensional, or if you're corporeal and physical, as you humans are. We are still of the same source. We are still equals. We are still in the balance. We are still one. And just hold that for a moment. Feel the love, feel your heart, your brain, your root, all as one chakra. Allow your whole aura to be an expanded version of your heart chakra. Feel that expanding into the fields and into the earth, healing, upgrading, aligning, and hold that. So you may be transmitters of love and positive prayer to those who you love, to those you may not know but still love, the collective and the earth herself. Oh, yeah. Oh, oh, yeah. No, yeah, And it is complete. We thank you for your work and service in unifying the fields, for allowing Great Spirit, God, or Source, and the great emissaries that are visiting your planet at this time to be able to act and work through you in your collective consciousness in order to create positive changes in your world, your lives, your society. We are the master teachers. We are complete. And thank you for that. So let's see, for Spirit Mind family people, our Patreon group, if you're not part of it, join. We do great stuff there also. That's even more powerful because it's a private platform. We have our live video tomorrow night. On Thursday, we will be doing the September psychic forecast. And yeah, and I think there's 2 or 3 spots left for the Wednesday healing. So you can email us info@inbetweentheworlds.com if you want to get a group, part of a group healing with the master teachers. All right, so that's what I got. Thank you, everybody. We're signing off, and if you just came on, go back to the beginning. We covered a lot of good stuff here. Thank you. Love you.